Lucian, is Valentine's hier buite. Die roos van Parel is gepluk en ons moet vir julle groet. Ek hoop jy het lekker, ek weet nie of jy koffietjie gedrink het, vir jouself ietsie gekoop het, of jy gespoil was nie. Maar happy Valentine's vir julle. Greetings to everyone, northern suburbs, southern suburbs. There's a lot of followers that side, and then abroad, we need to greet you tonight. It's a set piece, and we're gonna chat about laws. We're gonna chat about what happened in the week, but I can't do that alone. So I imported somebody from the United States of Paul, and he's arrived tonight. He's got a solid beard, well conditioned, and he's in the studio tonight. Lucian, keep it up. Hoe gaan het?
Jean-Paul Kellerman, eerstens, halleluja, welkom by die setpiece, weer eens 'n voorreg JP om vanaand lekker rugby te kan gesels. Natuurlik, ons beweeg nou in 'n fase, is die laaste vriendskaplike wedstryde wat opkom, as kompetisies wat opkom. Natuurlik, die Boland Liga begin die 2de Maart. So ons het lekker baie goed om oor te gesels. Ons het vir Joey vanaand binne in die huis. Ons het 'n Vasti Cup coach wat ons gaan join vanaand. So JP op die oomblik, dinge is gesond, dinge lyk goed en ons wil net die beste bring vir die mense wat ingeskakel is.
Nee, definitief. Maar jy wat ingeskakel is, hoop het gaan goed. Hoop hy ketel is aan, kinders gebad in die bed. Maar deel gou die link. Deel gou die link met jou mense. Jy vat hom, ga jy na share toe, WhatsApp status, gooi hom daar uit. Sê die mense moet 'n bietjie kom kyk. Lucian, jou week, hoe het dit geloop daarso?
Japes, om eerlik te wees, is 'n tawwe week gewees. 'n Mens leer elke keer. Soms maar is lekker om so te werk, man. Soms voel jy dom, nou moet jy nuwe goedes doen. Ek bedoel, ons het nog 'n venture in 'n skaak kompetisie in die Alex Forbes Battleboards Chess Championship wat nou aan die gang was. Hy was laas week gewees, Saterdag, ons het lekker hard gewerk daar, so my brein was ook iets wat van bietjie gefraai gewees, jy weet, maar dit is grace aan die einde van die dag. Soms moet mense onthou, waarvan 'n man gekom het en waarna toe die Here jou besig is om te vat. So 'n mens moet onthou om te onthou hoe goed die Here is, en hy's wat ek hierdie week geleer het, so grace om hier vanaand te wees.
'n Vraag vir jou. Hoe belangrik is dit om nuwe goed te leer en te adapt?
JP, is so belangrik, nee. Ek het nou, as ek 'n voorbeeld moet maak by 'n rugby oefening, manne bring nog goed van 2005 af.
Solid, hy stofsaag.
Manne bring nog ou goed na die gameplan toe. En soms moet 'n man gaan kyk, wat is die nuwe ding, wat is die ding wat werk? Wat is die trend kan 'n mens maar so. Dalk kan die ou ding werk. Maar as 'n rede hoekom die ou ding nie meer in plek is, so is baie belangrik om te gaan kyk, hey, waar kan ek ontwikkel, waar kan ek verbeter, en watter aspekte van my lewe kan ek verbeter? Moet ek leer om beter met mense te praat? Moet ek leer om beter te luister? Moet ek leer om 'n e-mail te kan tik? Moet ek leer om 'n brief te kan skryf? Moet ek leer om klein basiese goedjies, JP, in die alledaagse lewe wat vir jou kan vorentoe vat, in jou werksplek, in jou rugby, wat ook al, waar ook al jy jouself bevind.
Ek praat nou die dag met iemand, ek sê vir hom, kan jy op Excel werk? Hy sê ja, hy vat die pen, hy skryf Excel. Ek sê, dis nie Excel nie. Weet jy wat is Excel? Nee, Excel so wat tel ek so maar, stop vir alles asseblief. Maar terug op die punt van, we need to adapt, we need to learn. And I think tonight we're going to look at some new things. And if we say new, dan soos jy sê, then our brain fries. Dis hierdie punt hier, the principles are still intact. Is net 'n tweak, is net 'n klein veranderingkie hier. Maar is daar mense wat by die huis ingeskakel is?
Eerstens wil ek net JP, ek wil almal groet wat ingeskakel is. Baie welkom by die setpiece. Asseblief sê vir ons van waar kyk jy, saam met wie kyk jy? Wat is span support jy? Wat het jou span gemaak hier naweek? Het jou span gewen, het jou span verloor? Natuurlik, JP, was plekke wat games gebeur het, maar dan het die game nie klaar gemaak nie. Ons wil weet van die stories wat gebeur het die naweek, ons wil hoor wat het die klubs gemaak die naweek, en ons wil hoor wat maak jy persoonlik. So dit is 'n interactive talk, so ons wil graag kommunikeer met julle. So sit julle comments in. Ons lees julle comments uit hierso regstreeks. JP Marcel Jafta het vir ons gegroet. Hy sê goeienaand manne. Sien uit die manne is hier. Die jong manne is reg en opgewonde. Die jong manne is ook in die bed en reg. Ons kyk lekker manne.
Solid daarso. Ek wil net gou, kan jy net gou my naam op die skerm sit? Ek wil net gou iets kyk. Laasweek het ek 'n paar boodskappe gekry, ja, so my naam is al weer verkeerd gespel. Nou sien jy sulke goed. Kan ons dit regmaak asseblief? My ma het vir my naam gegee. Sort net my naam uit asseblief. Sorry, 'n mens het net een naam.
Ja.
En 'n naam is baie belangrik.
JP, baie belangrik. Hulle sê jou naam profeteer jou toekoms.
Come on now.
So aan die einde van die dag moet jy seker maak hulle spel jou naam reg. You know, en Marcel Jafta sê nou vir ons hy's ingeskakel vanaf Woester. Antonio Ross, lekker Tony. Ek sien Tony is ingeskakel aan natuurlik bestuurder daar by Newtons Bombellas. Hy sê ingeskakel uit CW Koutsa. So hy's aan CW man is besig aan met sy Swiss degree en hy het so wens hom sterkte toe.
So hy sê hy's familie van Swiss de Bruin nie. Is iets anders.
Nou hy's familie van Swiss de Bruin nie, maar hy's 'n groot Bombella man. Hy's Bombella deur en deur. Dan groet Shane Boysen ook vir ons. Kyk live uit Hermanus. My tweede huis was bietjie aan die naweek in Hermanus. Is lekker aan Hermanus. JP altyd geseën na so Shane Boysen kyk vir ons vanaf en natuurlik Tony Ross is in en Marcel Jafta is ook ingeskakel en almal is lekker is om 'n bietjie rugby te check vanaand.
Great Stuff Evolution, Tikkie Town. Dinge gebeur. Daar's 'n projek aan die gang. Reaching out to the community, bridging the gap. Het jy huiswerk gedoen?
Ek het my huiswerk gedoen, jy weet mos ek is altyd
so net die mense
ek kan nie met my hulle noem altyd daai ding is as jy gevang word met jou broek op jou knie.
Ja, wag, ek weet dit is Valentynsdag, maar luister gou hier. Jy weet mos nou van daai manne wat afskryf. My broer doen jy doen nie huiswerk man. Hy gaan vinnig gaan kop hierdie manne so jy moet eie huiswerk doen.
Hierso moet jy jou eie huiswerk doen. Jy moet seker maak dis up to date met die latest en wat.
Het jy die manne uitgesort met daai video?
Ek het die manne uitgesort met die video. Hulle gaan definitief die video speel, maar weer eens baie dankie vir Tikkie Town wat gebruik gemaak het van die Sanlam Boland Top 12. Natuurlik Tikkie Town is 'n borg nou van die Boland Rugby nie. Hulle het ingekoop om ontwikkelingskits te borg aan 30 skole in die Boland. Ons het nou deur al 30 skole gegaan, JP. Ons het gister die laaste skool gehad daarso in Saldanha wat hulle hy Tikkie Town development kits geoorhandig het. So elke skool, 30 skole het 10 nie 2 rugbyballe nie, JP, nie 1 rugbybal nie. 10 rugbyballe ontvang. Hulle het ook 2 bumping bags ontvang en 20 waterbottels. En hy het byna na R7,000 toe plus minus JP wat Tikkie Town aanspandeer. Hulle het ook spandeer op fotograwe. So hy was lekker teruggeploeg in die gemeenskap en so sê vir Tikkie Town baie dankie. Ons sê baie dankie vir al die klubbestuurders wat so goed ingekoop het met die hele ding. Selfde met die skole wat vir ons 'n geleentheid gegee het om tydens 'n saalbyeenkoms te gesels, JP, en vir die leerders te motiveer en lekker saam met leerders te kon gesels. So well done aan elke liewe persoon wat betrokke was tydens die Tikkie Town development kits handover. Dit was regtig 'n voorreg geweest om uit te gaan. Ek was in Elim geweest, ek was bietjie aan Robertson by hy skole. Ons was in Mamre geweest. JP, regtig, ek was by Houston ook, ons was by Houston primêr geweest maandagooggend. So regtig baie dankie aan Tikkie Town dat hulle so bestee. En ek sê altyd vir die manne, JP, en ek sê vir die skole, as ons hierdie kits tot die regte nut kan gebruik. Ek wil nie nou 'n kit vir 'n skool gee en dan vat die onderwyser dit en sit dit in sy boot.
Of hy sit op die duiksak. Hy was sak by die huis.
En dit is die ding, ons wil graag sien rugby moet ontwikkel in die Boland. Ons wil sien dat jong mense 'n geleentheid het, 'n gelyke geleentheid het met toerusting om te kan oefen en hulle talente uit te kan leef. So ja, baie dankie aan een en elk wat dit moontlik gemaak het. Verseker sê ek, as die goed reg gebruik word, volgende jaar kom Tikkie Town, of hierdie jaar altens kom Tikkie Town nog sterker deur en dan kan ons vir nog skole met hierdie ontwikkelings kits versorg. So ja, kyk uit vir dit, ons hoop vir dit, ons bid vir dit en ons glo vir dit, JP. En dit is 'n great tool nou. Ons kan nou sien baie van die klubs kan nou leer hoe die Boland dit actually doen, hoe hulle kyk na die borge, hoe hulle seker maak die borge het regte aktiveringsplanne. Jy wil nie net 'n borg hê. Hier gee die borg nou vir jou geld aan.
Nou wat nou?
Nou sit die geld daar. Nou wat maak jy nou met die geld, of wat maak jy met die toerusting? Nee, jy moet actually vir hulle 'n return on investment gee, JP.
Het ons 'n video daarso.
ROI. So hier is daai video, is 'n kort videoetjie, 'n paar fotootjies natuurlik wat gebeur het tydens die Tikkie Town development drives. Ons was regtig reg oor die Boland. En ons het nie die video nie, JP.
So okay, nee, als in die hak sê gou vir my, daar was mos nou friendlies geweest. Maar net gespeel, né? En ek dink jy het vir Tikkie Town goed gerepresent vanaand, so ons kan hy video verskoon. Daar was mos ou friendlies. En ons het daai resultate daarop. Het jou ander huiswerk gedoen?
JP, lyk my is manne wat julle huiswerk doen. Wat is manne wat julle huiswerk doen, JP? My huiswerk is gedoen. En dis die ding. JP, vriendskaplike wedstryde wat op 10 Februarie gespeel het, is nou op die skerm. Daar's 'n paar lekker interessante resultate wat plek gevat het. Een van dit is Citrusdal wat verloor het in Velddrif 26-29.
Maar Velddrif lyk op 'n level of dit lyk as iets wat gebeur.
Ja, ek wil Velddrif gaan speel in die Saldanha top 8 ook as ek dit reg
Ja, maar hulle qualification was 3 boksies soutvis. Hulle het die soutvis gebring, so hulle is reg vir aksie.
Ja, en dan kyk ons Darling het in St Helena gespeel. Darling natuurlik 'n top 12 span wat verloor het in St Helena 26-31. Grabouw klop vir Young Blues by die huis 15-10. Dan JP kyk ons haar Caledon natuurlik HCV is ingeskakel saam met ons. Hulle klop vir Good Hopes daarso in Riebeek 19-38. Daai is regtig 'n baie goeie wen. Sal ek sê want Good Hopes is regtig baie goed daar op hulle eie veld.
Ek wil gou weet daai Good Hopes, dieselfde Good Hopes teen wie hulle gespeel het.
Dieselfde Good Hopes teen wie ons gespeel het. So well done. Hy weet hoe goed hulle is en ek weet hoe warm dit is daar in die Swartland.
Ja.
Is taaf om daar te gaan speel. Hillcrest klop vir Never Despair 33-31 en hy kan ons sien Mamrey natuurlik 'n top 12 span wat vir Atlantis wat in die WP speel geklop het 41-19.
Ek dink hy laaste enetjie voor ons oorgaan en dan Montetjie was hy 6 duim geweest wat daar gespeel het.
Ek dink is klip.
Okay, Montetjie Club en hulle het daar teen Heidelberg gespeel. So Heidelberg het 'n bietjie gedraf uit op die Montetjie. Hoe ver is dit?
Ja, die hekke is oop 28-21 klop hulle daarso vir Heidelberg. Hasinos Villages Montico het gespeel.
So daai is dinge is net.
Dis definitief klip. Newtons Bombellas in die derby JP 20 jaar aan die making gewees. Dit was regstreeks uitgesaai op Global Sports. Ons vra om verskoning vir die laat inskakeling daarso by hy wedstryd natuurlik krag was af net ook wat die opvang en allerlei dinge so ons kan verskonings maak like jy verskonings maak jy beplanning baie belangrik. So Newtons klop vir Villages Newtons 46-23 JP kudos aan Newtons Villagers. Hulle het regtig 'n goeie span aan die veld ingestuur. Hulle was voor halftyd 16-7 so ons het regtig goed teruggefight. In hy tweede helfte Piketberg verloor teen Delices Noordweste by die huis Habrino Park 24-33. Prouks teen Toupark, goeie wedstryd gewees. Prouks en Toupark speel gelyk op 15. Elk Porterville 33, Hamlet 31. So baie goeie wen daarso vir Porterville. Rangers Bredasdorp klop vir Bonnievale Bluebirds baie gemaklik 52-6. Ek wonder of hy dalk wat gaan daar by Bonnievale Bluebirds aan op die oomblik. Miskien is Mr Davids bietjie nog oorsee met die hoogspring en die veerspring.
Ja, hy is op TikTok ook, so TikTok vat baie van sy tyd.
Ja, Robertson klop verloor teen CPUT wat nou natuurlik in die Varsity Shield speel, 36-45. En dan JP baie goeie wen daarso vir Botterrivier teen Seahawks, weg van die huis af 17-19. En dan JP hele wedstryd Saldanha teen skrik vir niks Houston. Julle gaan al die pad Saldanha toe. Ek dink julle het 400 plus kilos gereis tot daar.
So 297.
297 kilos. Jy het jou berekeninge goed gedoen. Julle gaan JP en julle gaan klop vir Saldanha 38-32 daarso by hulle. Ons gaan natuurlik nou gesels bietjie oor hy wedstryd. Natuurlik wil die mense graag weet wat daar gebeur.
Net gou laaste enetjie wat ek al wil uit of was 2. Wesbank Vredenburg is op 'n goeie wicket.
Ek sien ja.
Vredenburg is op 'n goeie wicket en dan Struisbaai en Genaal. So you can read it both ways, maar Struisbaai doen goed. Daar's iets aan die gang. Ek dink dit is nou hy vakansiegangers is uit Struisbaai uit. Okay. So nou het hulle die veld vir hulle self.
Okay.
Nou doen hulle baie goed, maar daai is friendly results daarso. So Lucian, ons het nou 'n bietjie gesels oor. Ek dink dis friendlies, manne is aan die gang. Die gemeenskap ken nie van 'n friendly nie. Hulle wag al lankal. Hulle wil skerry. Hulle wil hulle manne support.
Ja.
En maar ek dink dis goed dat dinge aan die gang is en ek weet eers 1 2 3 as die liga weer hierso. So daar's baie goed wat mense kan lees uit die friendlies het. Ek dink vir my net 'n boodskap aan die spelers wat ek weet nie wie hulle dink op watse vlakke hulle is nie. Maar kom by die veld uit. kom by die veld uit, want as jy nie by die veld uit gaan kom nie, Aaron, someone's gonna catch up with you. Either jy gaan in die deur klop en niemand maak oop nie, want die deur is toe, of jy gaan wil speel en dan coaches kan nie coach sê, ek is nie fiksie.
Jy is die fiksie, jy het niggles, is dit en is daai so. Is so waar wat jy sê, JP, en jy sien dit ook nou wat jy actually in die veld is en ons sien wat gebeur. Kom by die veld uit, maak seker jy's fiks genoeg, maak seker jy's sterk genoeg, maak seker jou vlak is op so 'n kapasiteit dat jy 'n volle seisoen actually kan jol. Jy wil nie laat begin, as baie first team spelers, jy sien dit, JP. Die manne verwag, hulle gaan eerste span speel. Hulle het die kwaliteit ook om eerste span te speel, maar is hulle fiks genoeg, is hulle sterk genoeg, is hulle conditioned genoeg om
Is hulle fiks genoeg, is hulle sterk genoeg, laaste een, ken hulle die reëls. Ons is nou by die reëls. Ons gaan oor die reëls gesels.
Take it down video.
Nee, ons gaan mos nou daai Bombellas, daai manne. Hulle het die bal geskuif. Ek het dit so mooi van hy nie. Maar ons gaan gou vinnig, net gou die hardloop. Ek weet nie, Lucian sê, ek weet nie, het jou neef die game gerekord, of weet die game gerekord, ek weet nie wat daar gebeur het nie. Maar kom ons kyk maar, loop die dinge. Ja, kyk gou hier na die result. Sê of jy 'n paar manne ken op die veld, wat dink julle van die rugby wat hier gespeel is?
Eerste paar sekondes van hierdie kragmeting en hy duik oor vir die eerste 3. Dit is 'n 3 in die eerste op Paulsen. Goeie werk, weer eens afgeneem deur Newtown. Dit is die loskakel Kyle Rehnquist. Ek meen die skrimskakel, jammer, Kyle Rehnquist wat sy agterlyn wegstuur. En goeie werk, 1, 2, 3, 4 spelers word geklop. Dit is uiteindelik is Newtown betik skoppie. Wat gaan hulle maak? Gaan hom wyd speel, goed opgeneem deur die speler van Villages wat hom so in kontak. Dan word dit oorgeduik vir Villages. Dis nog 'n 3. En Saggie manne weer vir die skrum. En weer gevoer word vir Newtown Abrams. Voor die skrum die bal wat agteruit kom. Hulle wag. Abrams wat so 'n bietjie van 'n Dis JP Smith wat die lyn breek. Hy duik oor vir Newtown. Smith wat 'n 3 kry. Dis 'n lynbreek deur die kaptein Colin April. Wat maak hy? Hy gee wyd vir Smith. Smith. Hy klop 1-2 spelers. Dan is dit die heel agter Jane Adonis. Speler wat grond toe gebring word hier reg voor ons. Net buite die doellyn en dan kom Abrams. Wat maak Abrams? Hy kom die steelkantjie om. Abrams goeie toe. Hulle is op hulle voete Newtown. Letterlik voor die doellyn van Villages nou. Dis weer Abrams, hy voer sy agterlyn. Wat maak hulle? Dis nog 'n 3. Dis nog 'n 3 vir. Dan is Abrams by. Uitstekende werk deur die slot. Matthew Andrews, hy dryf vorentoe en dan is dit die man daar, Matt Morgan. Hy gaan druk tussen die pale vir Newtown. Nog 'n 3. Word deur Villages. Dan word hy wyd gespeel.
Pas op!
Kom ons kyk wat maak hy. Hy klop sy opponent op 'n 1-op-1 situasie. Goeie werk deur Villages.
Dis 'n Newton sak. Die man het gespeel. Hy hanties het geskree, die dreef is gedruk. Coaches het bokse getik. Ek het gesien daai man in die boot, ek het vir jou ook gesien. Op die video. Ek sien vir jou. Quality, dankie dat jy by die veld is. Maar hier's 'n man wat by baie velde is. Hy kom al 'n lang tydjie aan. Jogg, daar was al goed vir hom gesê. Daar was goeie goed, slegte goed. Hy het geblaas. Ja, hy is op 'n tydjie goed op sy kop geval, maar hy het gedap en nou leer hy vir jonger manne, ander skeieregters waar dit gaan. Ja, soos hier by die skeieregters. Kan julle dit glo op die setpiece? Hier's 'n skeieregter, hy gaan gesels. Jo, die manne dra bomber jackets, watte, hulle mentally, hulle retire links en regs. Dis staffie buite. Maar voorsitter van die WP skeieregters, Joey Solomons, goeienaand. Eerstens baie dankie dat jy ingestem het en dat jy hier so is.
Ek sit op die setpiece.
Baie belangrik.
Belangrik gewees het. Hoe moet mens maak om hier te kom? Is baie lekker, dankie om is lekker om by julle te wees manne. En as so baie goed nou rugby gebeur, almal is in ekstase, ek is self. Ek wil eintlik weer die boots aantrek.
So?
Ja, maar dan moet jy weer speel.
Ja, so Lucian, ons het nog vir Joey hierso, Ek dink is baie belangrik just to close the gap, to bridge the gap. We speak about this a lot. We are not enemies. Why? Because we need each other. Ons het mekaar nodig. Net soos jy jou vrou nodig het, julle is kwaad vir mekaar, net soos jou Valentine nodig het. Jy kan nie so onder hulle gaan nie, jy moet jou bed toe, joh. Kom lê maar iemand, kom maar saam. Selfde hierso. Skeieregters, coaches, spelers. Lucien, van jou kant af, hoe belangrik is daai?
Ja nee, absoluut baie belangrik en Joey, baie dankie dat jy vir ons join vanaand op die show en net 'n blikke te gesels. Ek wil eintlik graag vir die mense vra as jy 'n vraag het vir die skeieregter, ons het regtig 'n kwaliteit skeieregter, 'n man wat al die reëls ken. Ek het al voor die show het ek al klaar gevra, you know, by die racks, hoe kan ek die manne nog dit en daai doen? So vra hierso, ons gaan dit definitief vir Joey vra, maar dit is so belangrik dat die verhouding tussen skeieregters en clubs en spelers en rugby fraternities net reg is en reg gemanage word. Want aan die einde van die dag is waar wat jy sê, JP, die een kan nie sonder die ander nie. Rugby kan nie gespeel word sonder dat die skeieregter op die veld is.
En Lucien, ons kort nog 'n man. There's another guy. We need to get this guy on. So, a coach, a mental coach, he decides if he's bored, then he assists the Stormers, he goes to IPL, he does the Proteas, he goes to the World Cup, playing in the semi-final. So, and then when he's got enough time in his hands, he's the head coach of UCT, and he does very well there. So, op julle skerms, Tom Dawson-Skoop. Tomo, good evening, sir.
JP, how are you, man? Nice to be here. Thank you very much. I don't think it's when I'm bored. I'm never bored.
So, yeah, Tomo, just quickly question to you. Imane stap ons plan toe om hier, maar ons gaan adapt. Just quickly question to you. Firstly, how's things going? How's the campaign? I know I just need to go back, man. Tomo, you were involved there with Proteas. Almost bringing the World Cup. Grace, doing really well. Just the experience in the camp. And yeah, we're always on the positive space and we really want to uplift people because we look at people and we think we know them, we assume. But you were there. Just quickly summary for the people and for you in your personal capacity. How has that been? I mean, traveling the world and experiencing different scenario there.
Yeah, thanks, JP, and thanks for having me on and to your listeners. Apologies for the English. I can understand Afrikaans, but I don't want to sound stupid and try and talk it, you know. Maar dankie. Yeah, I think a Cricket World Cup in India it's a bucket list thing, isn't it? It's an unbelievable space to be in. I think as a passionate South African and sports coach, it was awesome for me to be there and try and help, you know, the Proteas do what they've never done before. It's a high pressure environment, you know, JP, I was saying to people, rugby is like an emotion centric game, you know, like you gotta rive up the emotion because obviously there's skill and there's tactics and what have you, but you know what it's like. It's a highly physical game. It's in a short space of time. Cricket's a long game. It's a skill centric game. So it's a very different approach to coaching, to managing the team, to managing the environment than it would be to rugby. So that was quite an adaptation for me. And I probably learned the hard way and got quite humbled quite quickly that you realize like you just don't really know what you're doing. So just keep quiet for a while and listen. And Mr. Solmans, who taught me in Standard 5, will know that keeping quiet's not my strength. But no, I learned. I probably, JP, I probably learned more in the 3-4 months, 5 months I was with the Proteas than I've learned in a long time in my professional career. They're a great bunch of guys, fantastic coaching group and staff who are very pumped and amped to win that World Cup. And I think the team really started to get in flow. And 20 bad overs, 10 overs with a bat, 10 overs with a ball against Australia in that semi-final, and we missed out, you know. So, yeah, very disappointing, but a great experience.
Well, just back to you again. Tom Dawson-Skoop, we see him always solid blazer. Team has got an energy, great vibe. Who is Tom? Just quickly on your journey, just capping where things started for you, because we don't just arrive, not that you've arrived, we don't just fall out of the air and suddenly go to the World Cup. You understand? You must bring something to the party. So just in terms of you, the people that don't know you, just your journey up till now.
Yeah, I'll keep it short, JP. I'm sure they don't want to listen to me rabbit on about my story, but yeah, after I left university, I started doing work in sort of the leadership development space, and my passion has always been sport. You know, I love sport and I love music, and I love bringing people together. So I try to marry certainly two of the three. And I started doing some work. And in fact, the first schoolboy team I worked with was Ronnebosch Boys High, which is where I went to school. Nick Groom was the captain. I'm sure you'll know Groomy. And then I started working with Boys High, Paul Boys High, and Frans Maherva was the captain. And those were the first two teams I worked with. And anyway, then I left and I tried to do some stuff in marketing. I was crap at it, to be honest. And so I decided that I was going to go back and try and study a master's, and I was going to start my own business in the mental side, you know, mental performance coaching. I got a little bit lucky, and I knocked one day on John Dobson's door, and I said, "Would you mind if I come and did a workshop with your under 21 team?" So he said, "Okay." And I went and I did a workshop with him, and he said, "Oh, that was quite good. Will you come back on the Wednesday?" So I came back on the Wednesday, and then they were playing the Bulls on the Saturday, and they beat the Bulls. So they said, "Okay, well, you got to come back next week. We're playing the Sharks." So I did a session with the team on the Monday and a session on the Wednesday, and they lost to the Sharks in the first round, and we beat them at Newlands. So he said, "Look, Tom, you got to stay with us for the end of the comp." And I went to the final. I think Dobbo or someone paid for my flight, but I couldn't fly with the team. I didn't have any kit or anything. So I flew 6 hours before. I sat at King Shaka Airport for 6 hours, waited for the team to come. And then I did a workshop with the team that night to the final. And I walked in and Rassie Erasmus was sitting in the front row. So I started sweating bullets. I thought, oh, shit. And anyway, we managed to win the final and it went quite well. And then Rassie actually asked me to come and work with the Stormers the next year. And I started working with ECT. So I got very lucky. And yeah, so that was 2010, and it's now 14 years later, and I'm still doing this work, which, as you say, has been across a lot of sports and a lot of places. But yeah, I think I probably know less now than I knew then. Or as you know, Joey, the older you get, the more you realize you don't know. But I'm very lucky to do what I do.
Sure, Tomo. Just before we give over to Joey, and then congrats on the Nino small one. I know you 1 year's there, just checking how's the crying and those type of things. But also congrats there.
The only person crying is my wife on Valentine's Day night that I'm on a rugby show.
Oh, sure. blessings over there. Joe, just briefly, literally, I mean, Tom summed his space up nicely. Maybe just from your side as well before we get into the meat.
Yeah. So let me just say, I'm extremely proud of Tom. He, as he mentioned, I taught him in Standard 5, grade 7. And it is wonderful how both our careers at some stage were kind of overlapping, because I was into the refereeing space, he was in the coaching space. But he's always been someone that I've had a very good connection with since, and I don't know if it's because he has respect for me. But I was a very different grade 7 teacher from what they were used to. I think I gave them more freedom to do all kinds of crazy stuff, and maybe that's why some of them love me. But yeah, my journey also started. I was at Ronnebosch Boys Prep. I was a teacher there, and I had to start refereeing because Ronnebosch is a rugby school, so. You have to coach, you have to referee. So I started refereeing, and then Western Province, I joined them, and I went for a fitness test one day in JP. Hulle sê mos as jy fiks is, dan kan jy alles doen. And I was an athlete at school. I was at Spinewood High. I was an athlete. So kind of, it came naturally. So we ran that terrible thing called the bleep test. And I think I ran till 14, and all the senior referees had stopped already, and here this young lad is still going, and the next moment I open my eyes and I'm on a provincial panel for South Africa Rugby, and before I know it, I'm on a national panel for South Africa Rugby. Before I know it, I'm traveling the world, and it's all just happening in a very short space of time. And just the lady from Mitchell's Plain, Tafelsig, and suddenly I'm like, all this stuff is happening. And you got to adapt, You got to adapt, and suddenly you're also moving in your club rugby levels. You're moving up. I think I skipped a division every time, so I went from 4 to 2 to 2 to 1, and it's been crazy. But it was a fantastic ride, and 2015, 2012, SA Rugby said, listen, your time has come, like it happens to all of us. And I actually, you know what, for me, it wasn't even a bad thing. I didn't even feel bad about it. It was like, okay, so that part of my life has
there's a new
ended,
chapter,
so
yeah.
something else will happen.
Yeah.
But I still carried on refereeing First League rugby in Western Province for 3 more years until some of the seniors caught me at a meeting and they said, listen, we need a new direction for the organization. We want to ask you to lead. And I didn't even think about that at that stage. And then I just thought, you know what? The late one, Paul Dobson, said, and I remember he was the one I asked. I said, this is what's happened. What do I do? He says, if the people ask,
Wow.
you don't have a right to say no.
Wow.
So I just like, whoa, okay. And then I just said, it's fine, I'll do it. So I won the election. I was a referee the week before, and the next week I'm the chairman of the society. I've been there 8 years. I don't know, maybe they just don't find anybody else, or maybe they just don't want to get rid of me. But it's been a good ride. It's really been good. The society itself has evolved. It really has evolved, and I'm really proud with what we've done.
Sure. So Joey, there's something new. We're speaking about new chapter,
Yeah.
new things. Tomo's doing new things. Rugby's changing. There's a high tackle law. How do we define it? What it is about? And obviously, Lucian, we can jump in. Tomo, we'll give opportunity to you, direct it to you as well, because obviously from the Varsity Cup, different brand of game, very quick, different levels as well. So yeah, Joey, just in terms of your space, I know you've been all over presenting here, daar, radio, ek sien vir jou. But yeah, now we're speaking about this new thing, and when it's new, people freeze.
Yeah.
And people freak out, and people want to change their philosophy. And just from your side, what are we dealing with?
Well, I'm telling you, it's just like you say. I think we're in that storming phase now. We will get to when it becomes normal, but I think we're in that stage where everybody's just like, "Woo, what's going on?" You know, and how's this going to change? And the staunch rugby supporter, coach person who's been there forever is going to, this is going to change the game.
Yeah.
Those of us who understand what the game is about and how the game evolved is saying, well, this is actually going to make the game safer.
Yeah.
And isn't that what we want? We want a safer game. I mean, having taught in a primary school, I know how moms stand on the side of the field.
Yeah.
The moment a tackle is made, you know, moms are.
Then it's mom on mom, eh?
Yeah,
Mom on mom, eh?
and they go crazy. And I think World Rugby's taken the step to say, listen, research has been done. There's a lot of research has been done. We can see concussion numbers are on the up. And it's not just tacklers that are being concussed.
Yes.
It's tackled players. So both are being concussed. So what are we going to do about it? And I think it's great leadership that the World Rugby is actually saying, listen, we must fix this before catastrophic things happen.
And one of the reasons why we have Tom here, because Varsity Cup is starting next week. I'm sure he had a session tonight. Hopefully things went well there. Apparently he played against Poland, didn't go too bad. But we leave it there. So just in terms of that, so Varsity Cup is starting now, starting on that point. What are you expecting? And then obviously we can give over to Tom, maybe how is he adapting, what is he doing, and what did it do to him when he realized, listen, he needs to adapt?
I think for us, just from a referee perspective, and I'm sure Tom can maybe speak from a coaching perspective, I think from a refereeing perspective, it's about adapting. It's about, here is something new. How do we referee this, but don't over-referee it? How do we referee it, but don't complicate it so that it becomes now a focus? So let it come into the game, and you still manage your game. The one thing about this, the new tackle-like law for me is like, we never used to look at ball carriers. We always used to look at the tackler. And the tackler was always the one who gets penalized. You've never heard of a ball carrier being penalized.
Never.
The new law is going to have that now.
So Tom, how do you feel about that?
I'll take you back a couple of months ago. We went to a meeting with all the coaches and the referees and the head of medical at SA Rugby. And they were explaining these rules to us. And as you can imagine, the responses were wide-ranging. I'll put that diplomatically. And you know, like Joey says, you know, like people, this is going to change rugby, and how can we do this? And you know, we've always been talking about win the height battle on the carry, and now you want our carriers to be high, and all of this. You know, I suppose if one goes back, you know, rugby used to be played with lineouts where there was no lifting.
Sure.
You know, scrums used to be just like a bit of a free for all engage. You know, we used to have get the forwards out the backline crew. Now you got pods. You know, so rugby, I think I'm not that old, but rugby's evolved a lot since I started watching it, and will probably continue to evolve. So I think, and there's just too many lawsuits around now for them not to have done something, JP. You know, so I think that the fact that they've done it. I'm not too phased. What I can say is. We've now got a sample size of 3 games. So we played against Boland, as you said. We played against the Stormers, and we played against UWs, your old boys. And there were not that many more penalties blown for high tackles, and there wasn't one penalty blown for a carrier dipping his height in 3 games. So I'm kind of, Joey used the word adapt. I think sometimes theory and practice don't always sit right on my car, and I have a sense that the referees are going to go 2 ways. And Joey, maybe you can help me here. They're either going to, during the Varsity Cup, which is obviously only 10 weeks, they're either going to over-ref it early and then pull back, or they're going to under-ref it early and then have to ramp it up. I think it's not going to be as big a factor as we think. I think there'll be a few more high tackles, but I think even if you talk to Jacques Nienaber, they were dropping their tackle height anyway, even at the World Cup without these laws. There's a few things that people need to realize about this, and just stop me if I'm rabbiting on, but it's only the first contact. So if I hit Joey below the sternum and you come in, JP, as a tackle assist, you can still go for the ball because the first contact is me. But if we double hit at the same time, like a lot of coaches would do, and one goes high and one goes low, then that's a problem. But that was probably going to be a problem anyway, even with the old ways we were playing. I thought that the dip, I call it the rhino horn, when you like the Damien Delinda carry where you dip. I thought that was going to be more of a problem. I didn't see one blown, you'll be surprised. So I think last point, where the problem is going to come in is with TMOs. And in the Varsity Cup, in the playoffs, they have white cards. I think the problem is going to come in there is that if you look for something, you can find it. And I think there could be a lot of stoppages and a lot of TMOs, which I think is going to make a poor spectacle. And rugby's biggest flaw is that you cannot, in a stadium, hear the TMO. So if you're sitting live at a stadium, you've got to sit there and watch sometimes 2-3 minutes, and you don't know what's going on while stuff is happening on the field. So I think that's not going to help the spectacle, but I think it's going to be less of an adaptation than people think.
Before we give to Joey, you spoke about the noise levels in the stadium, but there at UCT, everything's going to be blown away. So just on that point, so Joey, Lucian, and obviously whenever you can.
We're also on a dip to keep under the wind,
Just quickly on the side note, how is the budget of your balls? Because all the balls are being kicked there on the M5. What do you guys do?
Look, it's not the M5, JB. You can't kick that far. It's the M3, but you're right. Look, we trained with 4 balls tonight at varsity, 2 of which had a hole in, the seam was coming out. So that's why our ball skills are cut. But we can at least run,
Solid, that's why you keep the balls. Joey, over to you.
Yeah, I think, when I was having this conversation with the referees, as Tom said, I think the change in the referee's mindset is the focus on the ball carrier. Because like I said to you earlier, we've never looked at the ball carrier. We've always looked at the tackler. And the referees kind of have to do a little mind shift now so he's carrying the ball. What does he look like? What does that picture look like when the contact is made? Because, it could be a dangerous play, dangerous setup, dangerous tackle, but it's actually not the tackler's fault. It's actually the ball carrier's fault. And I think that is the part where our referees will really have to work hard to upskill themselves.
So in terms of, let's call ideal picture, because you never get a perfect picture.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to see for ball carrier to say, listen here, my focus is off him now?
I think Tom, you mentioned about rhino horn there. There was a picture I think that SA Rugby shared with everybody, and I think they're going to use it as one of their marketing advocacy ploys, where they've got a lady rugby player who's got a little tossle and the tussle hangs down, and they say that's not the picture you want. You don't want it to. You want actually for the head to be up. So yeah. You know, I coach rugby as well. I wasn't a great coach. You know, they kept me at the D's and C's for a reason, but I made a more difference at the C's and D's. I think it's like when you make the contact, it's supposed to be present yourself, you know, chest open, like, and not run in. And that's my fear in the level where Tom's not going to be. The club rugby level, our skill set of our players is not that great. So maybe at Varsity Cup they won't have the penalties, but I think at club level we are going to see it.
And Lucian, so as a club coach, just quickly giving you an opportunity, as a club coach, what do you want to see? What have you done? What are you doing to make sure that you're not always on the wrong side of the law?
Firstly, I just want to greet Coach Tom. Good evening, Coach Tom. Great. I've been sitting here quiet. I've been listening to everybody speak. Coach Tom, great admirer of your work that you've been doing these recent couple of years. Awesome stuff that you've been doing there at UCT. Great brand of rugby that you've been playing there. I think you've got a great coaching staff there as well. I will always talk about Gerry Visser. He's like one of my mentors that I sit under. So I like the brand. I like his chats and the way he speaks about rugby and the way you UCT gentlemen speak about rugby. It's how can I say, it's aansteeklik vir my in Afrikaans is wat hulle sal sê. So thank you for that, and thank you for what you've been doing in rugby, Coach Tom. For me, JP, obviously I haven't really delved that deep into the new tackle law. I was actually sitting here now and thinking, what are these guys talking about? What are these guys talking about? The guy dips, and then I was thinking, but it's rugby, coach. You were speaking about winning the tackle height or winning the contact height. You know, you want your players to be, when it comes to contact, he must dip and he must be able to drive there, you know, because if you're upright, you're going to get tackled and smashed backwards.
So you're talking about the power step.
The power step, low body. Obviously, I myself have been tackled in the chest, and I've actually, I know you can get a concussion like that. I remember a guy tackled me. I was even just carrying a bag. He hits me on the chest here, and my whole head just started paining. So I think it's a good initiative that they're saying now. You know, below the sternum must be the tackle must be made. So we'll be definitely delving deeper into that, JP, at trainings.
But you didn't answer the question. As a club coach, what are you gonna do listening to what they said? Because you're representing the club coaches now. Maybe because we can't take all the comments and stuff, we're gonna try and do that.
Yeah.
But because you now mentioned that different level, not necessarily the level there, but what do you think? Are you going to change your brand? Are you going to have a different skill set? Maybe, and Tom, you can also come in a different skill set that you coach your players. You just tell them to keep going the way you've been coached.
JP, obviously, I'm not going to be the professional when it comes to the laws and that. So you would want to bring in a ref actually to training and actually to come and ref.
That's a good point.
A defense session that you have. Let the guys do some tackle drills. Let them hit the bag, body on body or bone on bone, whatever you want to call it, and see what the ref is blowing, and let the ref explain to the players, like say, hey, that's a little bit too high, that is good, and that is too low, because I see now you can't hit them on the knees as well. That is also penalizable. Is it?
Grasnijers.
Yeah.
You must wrap your arms, wrap the tackle
Around the knees.
So when you go low, you can't just, need to.
The wrap is important there.
Okay.
It's got to be a wrap. But on what Lucian said, I'd engaged with two of the Super League A coaches so far, and two of them have indicated, and they kind of have the same sentiment as what Tom has. They also said, like, just from their corpus stump and from what they're seeing in their sessions, they don't see this as really a big problem.
Okay.
But you see, again, this is Super League A.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking about the regions and the guys at the farm league. So when I'm coaching referees, I have to now coach different levels of refereeing. So I'm going to coach the guy who's refereeing Super League A and tell him this is what you look for, but I also have to kind of adjust for the guy who's refereeing at the lower level. Otherwise, we're going to have lower club games that won't end.
So Tom, just a question to you. In terms of philosophy and coaching philosophy, do you think this will suit the guys just bashing it up? Or do you think this is more for the guys attacking the space, using their feet, just from your perspective?
JP, it's a great question. And so, like, we've obviously debated it a lot. And as Lucian, you said, we've got the great Gerrie Visser there who can give his insights. I want to take you back to COVID. So when COVID hit and everyone talked about the new normal and, everything was changing. And I kept saying, like, yeah, of course things are different. We're on Zooms and what have you. But certain things that go back to biblical times still remain, like be a good person, have humility, work hard, like those things are still going to work. So I think even with these adaptations in rugby, we must be careful of like overthinking it because I think it could become a problem. So we thought, yes, the offload's going to be on, Jabs. So we thought like, look, you're going to step into space, everyone's hitting you low and the offload's on. But when you see it happen in reality, it's actually not because as I said, it's the initial, if your defense is connected, whether it was old rules or new rules, your defense is connected and you've got proper intensity in your tackles, all the different people use different language, second effort, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be hard to offload. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if it necessarily suits one style or the other, but hey, maybe I'm wrong and maybe time will tell. If we know it from 5 in the first 5 games of Varsity Cup, you've got this recording and you can laugh at me. But my sense is that I don't think it's necessarily going to change. I think as rugby has always been, it is a sport of momentum. So how you choose to get momentum, whether it's through, if you're big boys and you can T-bone guys, you'll still be able to do that. And if you're more evasive and use your feet and you try and get into space, you'll still be able to do that. So the game of momentum will never change.
So Joey, question to you. You had a couple of seminars and you're dealing with the referees. What is the key focus points when a referee goes onto a field? And I think just 1 or 2 questions, then we can maybe go a bit to the left or to the right.
Okay.
Because we've got a ref here, Tomo, we need to make him do his work here. He's representing, there's referees that don't come out of their houses because people ask them questions. So we've got one here, so we need to dive in there. But just when you spoke about the mandate, when the referees go out, what are they focusing on, especially on this?
Well, the one thing that SA Rugby did well, and I'm pleased they did it this way, and I think they also made it easier for coaches to understand how the referees are going to manage it. Remember, World Rugby brought out the head contact framework.
Yeah.
So contact made to the head, is it foul play, yes or no? They've got exactly the same kind of framework for tackles on the sternum or above, and basically if it is high and it is, let's say, on the sternum, then the next question would be ball carrier or tackle, or is a tackle or ball carrier, and then from there you work from there. So if it's ball carrier, then it is DD dip, because what we find, and until last year, there's a lot of players that did a late dip. I mean, we saw it in a lot of South African rugby. I've seen it in Currie Cup as well, where guys run and they go on a late dip, but many of those players are actually injured as well because of that action. Leading with the head is the other one we're looking for. So if you lead with your head, you're carrying the ball, but you're leading with the head. That's kind of, I said it on Wednesday, and the coaches were laughing at me. I said, the law is actually protecting your player who's not protecting himself.
Correct.
That's actually what the law is doing.
Correct.
So he might be very unhappy that he gets a yellow card or a red card for the way he ran into the tackle, but ultimately we are actually protecting him.
Sure.
And I think if it's my way of dealing with this with coaches and referees is it's about safety. So we can put a whole lot of words on a piece of paper.
Yes.
It's not for me it's about safety.
Yeah.
And the one thing that World Rugby and SA Rugby is saying is we do not want 2 heads in the same space. So that's exactly what I say to the referees. If you had to look at this at a frame, are there 2 heads in that frame? That's a problem. We don't want 2 heads in the frame. We want 1 head. The other head must be somewhere else.
Makes sense. So just quickly, for the people at home, nie 2 koppe nie. Ons soek nie 2 koppe daar nie, want wat gaan gebeur? 'n Kop aan kop botsing, hersenskudding, steke. Ons nie dokter by die veld nie. Die antikoms is dit steke is 'n probleem. So we need a 1 head there, and then we need to move it out. Very important. I think that's just the one thing. I know there's a Valentine's that you still need to sort out there.
Can I ask Coach
Ja,
Tom?
vra Tom, man, ek weet sy kloppiek daar so.
Coach, obviously, Varsity Cup approaching us next week, Monday. You guys are kicking off.
Shimlas.
how you guys are playing? Are you playing at the Green Mile?
No, in Bloemfontein, Shimlas, yeah.
Hey, Coach, what can the South African community expect from UCT in 2024?
Yeah, look, we're excited. I was doing a bit of a calculation. I think there's 14 or 15 guys who played in the final will be playing on Monday night as well, last year. So it's been nice to, after having a couple of years with a lot of churn, it's been nice to have some of the same guys coming back. I don't think our style and our brand will change too much, Lucian. I think you know what you're going to get. It's going to be pretty up-tempo. We're going to try and play. We don't, like some other teams, tell everyone how entertaining we are. I don't think we try and be entertaining. I think we try and be brave, and I think we try and play rugby that we enjoy playing. So I'd say that's what you can expect. I think there's some nice youngsters that have come into our group. Xola Nyali was the SS Schools captain last year at Wynberg. He's around. We've got a guy called Wandile Mlaba. He's come from very highly rated guy from KZN. And then a couple of postgrads. We've got it's nice to have someone from Stellenbosch, our friends. Luke Berger. So he's with us, and so that's exciting as well. And I think you can expect some fun and games. Shimlas they've got a slightly new coaching staff. So actually, the CUT coach Malusi has gone across to Shimlas. He's a very good guy.
He wants to run the ball as well.
That guy's not too bad, eh? He's not too bad.
Yeah, he's a good coach. So I think their previous attack coach was Swayze de Bruin, who's not bad either. So it'll be. I think it'll be a good game. Everyone tells me how good Shimlas are, so I think it'll be a nice fixture.
Yeah, Coach, you were just speaking about some of the players that you mentioned, a couple of youngsters. Obviously, I know a few of the guys that played last year. Makaza was really influential. I don't know if he's going to be playing again this year. You've got Kompion von Ludwig on flyer for you guys this year. Any other players that we should be looking out for during 2024?
Yeah, I think last year we had a guy called Assad Moos. He's an exceptional player, in my opinion. The problem is Assad and a guy called Josh Poole, they're in the SA Under 20 squad. So we're not going to see them for the entire comp. Unfortunately, it's one of those, you become a victim of your own success, But Assad and Josh are great young prospects. Duran Kufort's been around for a while. He's an exciting guy with some speed at the back. And then I think you've got to watch out for our tight head, Brian Leroux. He was actually a Rondebosch boy, same as good as me, but he's had quite a few injuries and he played last year. But, he's 118 kilogram prop who's got a massive work rate and a good guy. I think he's a special rugby player, so definitely watch out for him.
Just quickly, one question from my side. I just want to reflect back. Last year, you guys, it felt like Super Rugby. You were traveling, playing. I mean, me and TP, we sat and we worked out. You traveled from here to there, and I can't remember the detail. But just how do you manage the traveling and the mental aspect? Because there's always a vibe, there's always a culture, irrespective of what way, there's smiles on the faces. But that traveling aspect, like how did you guys just manage that? And then you played the final, etc. You played league. It was just, it was a lot of rugby.
Yeah, look, James, probably as well as I do. I think the traveling, so we frame it probably a little bit differently, is that these guys are youngsters. So you're telling them, guys, you're getting on a plane for free. You're going to stay in a decent hotel. You're going to room with a guy you can have a laugh with. You can watch Carte Blanche on Sunday night there in the hotel room. You're going to get a free buffet dinner where you can eat as much as you want, and a buffet breakfast you can eat as much as you want. You're going to play a game of rugby on TV, have all your mates watch you, increase your Instagram followers, and then if you're lucky, you have a couple of beers afterwards. That's not cuck, James. Do you know what I mean? When I was 22, I would have loved that. So I think it is hard, but...
Just before you continue, you said you were in marketing and in sales, you did poorly. I don't agree with that, but continue, please.
No, but it's true, and often I say to the guys all the time, you can talk about sacrifice, and it's not sacrifice. It's like, there's students who are sitting on Clifton Beach, or they're jolling with their mates or doing whatever, but these guys are getting an opportunity of a lifetime to play on national TV, to learn life skills, to make mates that for the rest of their life. Like that for me is a vibe, James. So yeah, it's a bit tough, and you know what it's like. As you said, you play the final on Monday, Saturday you're playing league. You come, it's a bit less glamorous, but it's you also make league exciting. So I suppose we just try and put a lot of effort into making it fun. We have a games night when we travel. So the Sunday night before a game, we'll have a little games, and the guys play some games and they compete, and it's a lach, and they're probably more competitive in the 30 seconds game than they are on the field. But you know, those kind of things, I think you try and make travel like really fun and really exciting, and not focused only on recovery and focused on let's have 2 hours of meetings on a Sunday after captains. Come on, man, these guys don't want to have that, you know. They don't want that.
So yeah, gents, the table is open to any one of you before we release. Tom over there.
Yeah, so Coach Tom, I just want to say thank you. Some of the guys have already commented here on our Facebook platforms, and they're saying one of the guys, Johnny and Michael, said next level guys, like your technology. Heiko Jacobs, he's also a head coach. He said, what a great info session. Serwan Stefano said, 9 manne straight uit die woewoe uit. But there's a big, one of our other guys who is also a coach, he's also supposed to be on the show. He also commented this, if we coaches have our players apply the correct tackle technique, we need to also educate our players in carrying. we can still get good carries out of our BCs. We just need to ensure it's safe both on attack and defense. I guess that was for you, Coach Joey. That is from Herschel van Aswegen. But yeah, it's been a quite quality show, and it's been great to have you on here, Coach. All of the best from my side for Varsity Cup 2024. Obviously, I'm an old Picker boykie, and I could so relate to what you were saying, you know, going to play and staying over at hotels. I was even I was part of that 2020-2014 team that UCT played there at Picker when you guys got that comeback there against us. Yeah, Coach, you're doing incredible work there, and all of the best with 2024, Coach.
Joey, any words for Tomo before we release him?
I love how Lucian just, you know, that last moment there, it's like he was part of that team. Is it the one that you drummed, Tom? Anyway, we're not gonna go. No, the one thing, and I think, Tom, that people can learn from, especially since we are educating the public, is I really want to talk about relationship between captains and referees.
Wow.
And coaches and referees. Because I have a massive drive in Western Province this year. I feel that we need to close the gap between clubs and referees. We need to start having the conversation. We need to get into a space where we are able to sit down and have a conversation without it becoming ugly, if you get what I'm saying. So how do you, from your perspective as head coach, manage your captains, for instance, and what advice do you give, for instance, to them about how they manage referees? I know you are very good at managing people. I mean, you managed me when you were 13, so so I fully understand you know how to do that. But your players, what advice do you give them?
I think my captain manages me, to be honest. Look, Joey, I think hostility towards referees is you're going to lose. You might win a small battle, but you're going to lose the war. So I think, like in any relationship where you want to get performance, there needs to be a bit of edge. I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, challenging and what have you. I just try and speak a lot to them, you know. So Dion van Blomenstein, obviously you'll know, Joey, he manages the refs. I chat every week to him a lot to try and get as much information as we can. And you try and be affable to refs, because I actually think your job is exceptionally hard. And I think, unfortunately, these new laws are going to make it even harder for you. So I feel desperately sorry for you guys, and I think it's going to be tough. But, you know, you're all great servicemen of the game, and without you, we couldn't survive. So I think whilst we get frustrated with referees, I just try and communicate, you know, try and over-communicate. And then, my captain, Lutando Waji, he's exceptional. He's just a superb human being. So I find that he creates a really good rapport with the refs, and we try and take that approach. But I've never won the Varsity Cup, so maybe it's the wrong approach. Maybe I need to release a video or something on YouTube.
So, Tomo, I think firstly from my side, like, thank you very much, just that you're always authentic. I think that's very important, being authentic, irrespective of what environment you go into, and there's just a permeation from you with your players, with the people, and there's a lot of value added. And I think for me personally tonight, and I'm speaking on behalf of the listeners as well, that remember the why. Let the main thing stay the main thing. I mean, when we played and I played and the start of the Varsity Cup and whatever, there was a certain brand and message they wanted to put out. And guess what? It's still the same. Remember backing your boykies and doing the stuff. But don't forget those things, because suddenly we've shifted the poles and we've shifted everything. But the boys want to play. So let the boys play. And I think you are somebody that you pilot that. You're really strong in terms of that. So from my side, good luck to your team, what you guys are doing there. And just in terms of life as well, with your family, what you guys are doing. I think as a coach, people don't understand. It's not just you rock up to the field, you do your thing. I know some coaches do that, I'm watching you. But you need to plan, you need to prep, you need to do family, you need to adjust, you need to make a phone call here, you need to catch up here, you get something. So there's a lot going into it. And the way you're carrying yourself, saying, listen here, you want these boys to have fun. And you are really changing the narrative in terms of that. So from my side and the set piece, thank you very much for you. Once again tonight, 7:30 your session was done. No excuses, you came on, you made it work. So we really appreciate that. And yeah, good luck for your campaign.
Yeah, thanks, JP, Lucian, and Joey. I really appreciate it. I just want to say, like, you've obviously been very nice to me, and I think it's really important. I know I'm stealing your time here, but I think too much is put on the head coach. So when we do well, it's like, oh, the head coach is brilliant. And when we do badly, it's the head coach is rubbish. I think I only do well because of my coaching team. And I've got an amazing team, and we get on and we fight with each other and we have arguments, but we get on, and I think it's a team that makes a team. And so I'm very grateful to all of them, because I think they just make me look good. And I don't really do that. I don't have to do too much because they're good at what they do. And speaking of good at what they do, I think you guys have got a really cool vibe here. I've learned this evening that there is a club called Never Despair, and I need to go and watch Never Despair play because I love that name.
I love it as well, coach. I love it too.
I need to, if Never Despair's coach is on here, please can we connect? I need to come and watch Never Despair play. I love it. But I dig your energy, Japes, and you know, we've coached against each other, and I know there's been some difficult times as well, but I love how you're reinventing yourself as well, and your positivity. So thank you to you guys. Enjoy the evening, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the touchline soon.
Solid brownie points there, Tomo. Never Despair is in Malmesbury. So
I'm coming.
We'll hook them up. But Tomo, thanks. Keep well, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for having me. Bye.
So yeah, Joey, just over to you as well. Maybe if there's just anything else, just in terms of the new tackle law, and then one or two things we can adapt, just from your perspective, that we don't miss something very imperative.
Look, I want to say the following, and I want to say this obviously to the viewers as well. I think every province is going to do a bit to go and to do some advocacy around this new law, like we're doing in Western Province at the moment. I think coaches must take the opportunity, even if they go to 3 sessions and they hear the thing 3 times.
I know Poland is also they're
also busy rolling it out, because I think we all are planning to roll it out within the next 2 weeks. We've got massive amount of sports rugby in March, and I know you guys know every Saturday there's a massive schools tournament, and the idea was, and I'm running this via the union, and I'm saying to union, can we implement this from March, so that clubs can do it in the pre-season, they can practice it, schools can practice it in the tournaments, referees can practice it as well. So when league starts on 6th of April, we at least into it already. Because the reason why I say people should go back is the presentation we got from SA Rugby is 104 slides.
Where can people? There's claim biggie buyer. Where can people?
Lucian's already worried about. It's okay, Lucian. He clips on your back.
Where can people get the information from? If the union somehow,
Kieran, just from your perspective.
So in Boland, I know they'll get it. Linston's got it. I know that Boland and Western Province, we did ours together with Dion van Bloemenstein. So Angus Stubbs was there with 6 of his executive members. So they've got it. It's all there with them. We've got ours. Tomorrow I'm speaking to the high school coaches at Sports Science. And then the week after, I think it's primary school coaches. And then we're going to go back into the regions of the clubs. And then we'll come back to Super League A, B, and C because we had them now.
Because dan jy ook al geleer.
Yeah.
There's certain stuff that popped
Exactly.
up.
And then people will have good questions maybe for you as well.
Walid Morat, ons sien vir jou, jy is hier in die huis. Ons maak vir jou, jy's aanwesig. Coach Andre de Bruin sê ook net, hello guys, this has been a very informative show. Thank you very much and much respect. So daar gaan baie rollouts wees. We just wanted to just open it up to introduce. Ons wil hierdie ding ontbeen het vanaand. Just to put it out there. Question, match day, jy het refs wat jy moet manage.
Yeah.
How do you sleep at night on a Friday? Wetende meneer, die refs moet uitgaan. Net vir die mense by die huis because, and I mean maybe speaking more on a Boland perspective. Ons nou nie so baie mense in die WP nie, Lucian, ons kap maar hierso by die drywertrossies. But
Koring daar.
die koring, maak seker die badges reg asseblief. So just in terms of you managing referees, ons weet nou van Linston, dis wat hy doen, so ek vra nou sommer on behalf of everyone. Hoe is so aan, wat doen jy? Like, just explain the adrenaline, because I was in recruitment, medical recruitment. Then I'll place a doctor at the mediclinics, etc. Of ek boek hom in die week vir Saterdagoggend. Meneer, hy is 2 uur op 'n Saterdag, my foon moet nie lei nie. Want as dit lei, is dit hy man is nie daar nie, hy het nie gekom nie. Just that feeling from your perspective.
Listen, there are 2 things. I mean, you find as coaches, I'm sure that the culture amongst players have changed. They're younger. They come with their own mental space. We have exactly the same in the refereeing business.
Wow.
So I'm willing to ref this week, but maybe not next week. Or, you know, I looked at my appointment. I don't really feel it. It's marky, and then, you know. So we are really trying hard to build a culture. I fully believe in I'm all about excellence. If you're going to be in it, you're in it to win it. It's not a half-hearted thing you must do. But what I want to say to the viewers is I don't think they appreciate the hard work that goes in before the ref gets onto a rugby field.
Wow.
Let's talk about Walid because he's on here. I used to coach him. So to coach, we coach on a Monday, we have to meet. So it might be Zoom, MS Teams or whatever, but we talk reflecting. So what happened on Saturday?
So as a review.
So we're reviewing on Saturday. Then that takes about 2 hours of your time. Then it's about, okay, so what do we want to do next? We're not interested in the game.
Sure.
The game is not important. It's what do I want to achieve in my next game. So we start working on that. Then he has to go and work through it in his own head. Whatever questions he has, he calls and he says, okay, I don't know how, the scrum is still not working for me. How am I going to do that? That's where I come in as a coach to say, okay, what do we want to do at the scrum? Let's look at the basics. We just want to get the basics right. And then you go, the appointment might land on Wednesday. So Wednesday we see, okay, it's a big pack team versus a small pack team. Now immediately the scrum becomes an issue. Now we have to talk about how do I manage the scrums on Saturday. So that's Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah.
Hoor julle nou? Dis 'n proses. Lucian is 'n review. Dan is dit die fixes is uit. Nou kyk ons na profile, team profile. 100%. En dan ek hoop Pierre Rogers kyk sy e-mails as jy vir hom stuur. But now want die mense, sorry ek stop nou vir jou want ek sien nou gaan ons verby hulle. Hulle dink net So there's detail in this. Daar's 'n mens agter die vletjie. There's preparation. En jy voel maar net jy wil die ou sê wat jy wil en jy ken nie sy reëls nie.
100%. En meeste van die games is nou soos hy nou sal high profile games blaas. Nou blaas hy die high profile game, nou sit 'n 15-17. Finale eindtelling. Nou ek weet reeds hoe voel 'n eindtelling 17-15 vir die skeieregter. Ek weet hoe dit voel. Jy is in jou chops. Want jy's mentally uitmekaar uit. So onmiddellik is my job as coach om onmiddellik 30 minute na die game vir hom te bel.
Wow.
Of hy bel vir my of ek bel vir hom.
Wow.
As jy nog as jy in die kleedkamer was,
Yes.
was jy by die aftermatch function of as jy daar was, gaan gou huis toe, op pad huis toe bel my.
Wow.
En dan laat ek vir hom toe vir 'n uur net om te praat. Hy moet nou afpak wat dit waar, wat en hoe. En dit is 'n week.
Wow.
En dis ouens wat werk. As 'n ou wat sy eie werk het, hy werk van 8 tot 4
Ja.
of 8 tot 5
Ja.
en dan moet hy en hy moet hy step up gaan maak.
Wow.
En ek dink soms dan gaan ek klubs toe en dan sien ek die mense waardeer nie dit nie.
En dan moet hy ook nog fiks uit doen.
Ja.
Want hy kan nie nog fiks by die veld
Ja.
uitkom nie, né?
Maar nou sien ek ook daar spelers. Nou sien ek eers maar hy speel het dan nou 'n paar baie slegte foute gemaak.
Ja.
Maar ek sien nie hy kry die aandag as wat die ou in die middel kry nie.
Wow, so stop gou hier. Daai ou wat 4 bolle genok het. Hy flyer wat hy uitskop nie.
Ja,
Daai man wat voor die paal miskop 4 keer.
ja.
Maar hy's alright.
Yep.
Maar hy ref. Dis wat jy nou sê.
Nee, 100%. Dis presies dit. En dan raak dit bietjie mense moet die emosie uithou, maar baie keer dan kan jy nie, dan moet jy, dan gaan jy daar. Dan soms en ek sê baie van die skeieregters moenie persoonlik raak met kapteine nie. Moenie vir die kaptein of vir die coach sê ja, maar jou span het dan daar voor die doele en toe nog. Ek sê daai maak seer. Hulle wil nie dit doen nie. En hulle gaan nie onmiddellik sê ja, hands up, ons het 'n fout gemaak. Hy is so gefokus op die fout wat jy gemaak het. So ek probeer maar met die skeieregters werk. Kom ons werk op die fout wat jy gemaak het. Hoe kan ons dit regmaak vir volgende week sodat jy dit nie weer doen nie. En dan die ander ding wat ek wil sê JP is baie skeieregters ouens sê en ek weet is 'n touchy subject. Mense sê hy is 'n skelm man.
Ja.
Nou vir ek het nog nooit op 'n Saterdagoggend wakker geskrik en gedink ek gaan vandag die game blaas, né?
Ja.
Maar ek wil hom so blaas
Ja.
dat hy span moet wen nie.
Wow.
Dit is net die druk is net te veel.
Daar's so baie goed om aan te dink.
Daar's so baie. Daar is nie tyd vir jou om nog aan sulke
Wow.
goed te dink nie. So soms ken 'n ou net nie die reëls nie.
Wow.
En ek dink dit is wanneer mense sê ja, hy is skelm, maar sê ek nee, hy is skelm nie. Hy ken nie die reël nie.
Wow.
Hy ken net nie die reël nie. So iemand moet hom nog gaan help.
Hoeveel
om die
reëls
reël
is
te
in die reëlboek?
Ek weet nie. Ek het hom lanklaas gelees. Maar hy was ons noem dit hy was 23, dus ja, so kom ons by 22 tot 23 en dan trek ons weer 'n paar weg, maar die een wat belangrik is 25 want jy moet jou eie allerlei reëls vat. Maar jy kan nie reëls blaas op 'n game nie. En dis wat ek wil mense moet verstaan.
Wow.
Ek ken die reël, jy ken die reël, maar jy gaan nie sat daar reëls blaas nie.
Ja,
Jy
jy
moet
gaan
die
die
game
situasie
blaas.
blaas.
Jy moet elke coach en ek is seker julle wil dit ook hê.
Ja.
Afrigters het al van my oor en oor gesê, Joey, ons weet jy ken jou reëls. Moenie die reëls toepas vandag nie. Blaas die game. En dis wat hulle manne wil hê. En ek het nou vir ons duidelik gemaak, een van hulle fokus vir die jaar is ball in play. Coaches vir hulle praat die hele tyd daarvan. Ball in play time.
Wat is ball in play vir die wat jy weet nie?
So wanneer die ballie werk doen, soos die mense sê langs die veld, laat die ballie werk doen. So in ander woorde van faset na faset. So wat ek vir die referees probeer sê is like, so ja, ons sien daar's 'n knock, so jy het mos die voordeelreël wat jy kan gebruik. So speel die voordeelreël sodat die bal lewendig bly, dat die bal kan gaan. En as daar goeie genoegsame voordeel is, advantage over. Kom ons blaas die goed wat clear and obvious uitstaan.
Ja, moenie goed gaan soekie.
Moenie goed gaan soek nie.
Wow.
En as daar grys is en jy wonder, dan is dit al klaar te laat speel aan.
Yes.
As jy wonder, moet jy aanspeel.
Yes.
Maar as jy dit sien dat en jy weet jy, dis iets wat nou moet gebeur.
Ek lag so nee. Ek sê altyd vir my players, kyk die profa van die ref.
Ja, daar sê nou.
Ek kyk die profa van die ref. As jy by my veld aankom en jy's groter as ek, probleem. Because ons gaan die bal skuif.
Ja.
En ek kan my tips vat. Ons gaan die bal skuif en moenie hier gaan forward plase soek en die game staan. Ek kyk hy ref, hy skram wat 5 minute meneer. Boys, raak fiks. Ons gaan vir julle appreciate. Ons gaan maar kry jou profiel reg.
Ja.
Want ons en ons players se profiel reg kry. Is dit kan nie so lykie
Ja.
en ek kan ook nie so lykie. So werk 'n bietjie aan die profiel. Baie belangrik en maar ek glo wat jy sê, die game moet vloei.
Ja.
Die game moet gaan. Moenie goed gaan soek nie.
Nee, ek moet nie goed soek nie. En jy praat van die profiel van skeieregter spelers, een van die Bolandse provinsiale skrimskakels wat in die WP bly, julle ken hom, het van my eendag gesê, nee, ons weet alreeds wat jy gaan doen. Hulle het my so bestudeer.
Yes, you need to,
dat
ja.
ek het nie geweet daarvan nie. Ek plaas net. Dan mekaar gaan blaas ek 'n carry bietjie game by Boland of as hulle wegspeel of tuis speel. En toe ek nou retire en toe sit ek in 'n eenligste gesels. Sê nee, wat Boeta, as jy gekom het, as geweet by die losskrim, by die racket ons soveel tyd, want ons weet jy het empatie daar, jy gaan bietjie kalm wees, jy gaan eers kyk en dan gaan jy sê roll away en dan jy gaan nie sommer net kom en blaas nie. Dus
So jy moet ook game met depth.
so jy nou soos ek met skeieregters werk, dan sê ek vir hulle, jy kan nie dieselfde blaas die hele tyd nie. Jy moet bewus wees dat as jy twee spanne het en julle speel teen mekaar, ek sien jou span wil die bal vertraag. Julle is by julle is hy pick and drive manne. Die man se span wil die bal net wyd gooi. So my brein moet nou sê as hulle getackle word, wat gaan jy doen om hulle bal stadig te maak? So die
Wat kan jy doen wat buite die reël
ref
is?
moet aanskakel om te sê
Yes.
hier's 'n man wat 'n handjie op die bal vashou. Gaan hy man net nie vinnig die bal kan uitkry nie. En daai is die man wat jy moet uitsoek.
Hoe belangrik is posisionering?
Ja.
Positionering, because vir my, wat analyse, ek kyk waar die ref staan, en dan weet ek, hy kan nie seker goed sien nie. Hoe belangrik is daai?
Baie slim. Ek sê vir ouens altyd, toe ons nog jong skeieregters was, het ouens gesê jy moet op 'n spesifieke plek staan. Ek glo nie meer aan nie. Ek sê kan jy die bal sien? As jy die bal kan sien, gaan staan waar jy die bal kan sien, want dit is waaroor dit gaan. Die bal is die belangrik. Nie die spelers om die bal nie, is die bal. Kan jy die bal sien en dan is daar nou fair play, maar baie ouens, ek was lief om kanaal 1 of 2 te staan op attacking. Ek het al 'n paar ribbietjies gehad wat al beseer is.
Ek
Dus
het die
ouens van
naweek,
agteraf kom en
ja, ek het die naweek, op Canola se game, hulle het by ref, ek gaan op die punt gaan, ref is aan channel 1 meneer. Hy man staan aan channel 1, hulle het by ref, hy man rol, hy man is op, hy man is net besig. Ons wedstryd ook, bal kom 'n dakkie skeieregter seker 5 keer.
Ja.
In die
So-
pad van die
Dan weet
pad
jy
van
is
die
in die pad.
spel.
Maar
Ja.
ek staan daar en we sensitive en we
Ja.
positive, maar ek is soos 'n jong man posisionering.
Kyk as jy die tweede keer gedak het, dan jy weet. Jy sien maar dis ook wanneer ouens die trigger points het. As jy nie trigger het om sê hoekom het ek gebuk het nie.
Ja,
Dis goed weet jy vir die ou moet lees. Jy sê as jy buk, is jy in die pad.
ja.
As 'n ou in jou vashardloop, is jy in die pad.
En die challenge is like, so vir my, jy praat van die relationships
Ja.
en goed, ek meen van speel daar af, ons het altyd met die refs gechat, there was a respect,
Ja,
there
ja.
was a rapport, en so as my van met die veld kom, jy moet weet, hy ons wat hier langs die, ek sê, meneer, sit, laat die ref blaas en die, ja, sit stil.
Ja.
So coaches have a massive responsibility,
100% agreed.
en dit vir my is net, so ek wil toe nou na die ou toe gegaan het en gepraat het, like, ons los het maar nou daar, but positioning, Lucien van jou kant, ek weet nie waarna kyk jy nie, of Joel julle net?
Kyk, ek het as baie skeieregter. Oh, there's a lot of referees that you
Ek
actually
kan my nou
get to know.
Afrikaans praat, daai Engels ou is weg.
Kan ek maar Afrikaans praat? Maar my Engels is kwaad. But always you get refs, especially when we play in the ball, ons speel in die bolland, jy weet hierdie ref gaan so blaas. So jy moet 'n bietjie jou spelers moet jy ook educate en so soos as ek weet JBN gaan vir my blaas. Ek het al 2 keer wat ek weet nie wat JBN sê.
Okay, nou baie goed, ja.
JBN het nou al 2 keer vir my
Ons
geblaas.
is vir my 'n groter shot die jaar, asseblief. Ek gaan vir hom so groter shot stuur.
Ja, maar ek dink jy baie mense gaan gelukkig wees daarmee. Ek kan aan jouself dink.
Nee, hy man like solid,
Ek
hy
kan
man
nie
like
so-
solid loop. Dis hy man se styl. Hy man se styl is so.
Ek like vir hom. Ek meen baie mense sê baie goed, nee, but
Ja.
there's a lot of things he does right.
Nee, hy's 'n
En
goeie
ek
skeieregter.
like hy.
En ek sê altyd vir die ouens, ek weet wat JBN gaan doen. Hy gaan vir jou sê rol weg, hy gaan vir jou sê haal jou hande van die bal.
En hy gaan Engels praat.
Ja, en
I like
dis
Engels
wat
blast.
som alle refs doen nie dit.
Ja.
Hy was al 'n ref wat
Ja.
ek het nog nie 'n ref gesien nie.
Ja.
Maar toe blaas hy nou op die dag vir ons en die man blaas vir enigiets. Die
Ja,
man het nog
hy
eens sy
check in.
hande.
Ja.
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 Dit amper so hy wil vandag rustig gewees het. Nou heeltyd penalties, heeltyd skraap.
So nou wat sê jy vir jou speler Lucien as jy daai onmiddellik optel as 'n afrigter? Sê my eerste 10-15 minute sien jy die man is vletjie, die man is
vletjie
vletjie,
mal.
hy's vletjie
Vletjie
mal.
happy, ja.
So wat is die boodskap wat jy vir spelers dan op die veld gee?
Daar's 'n paar boodskappe wat ek eers bly positief teenoor die ref.
Ja.
You know, bly positief teenoor die ref. En jy sien mos nou die ref blaas nou
Ja.
heeltyd vir daai.
Ja.
Los jou hande, moet nie daar ingaan krappie. As jy daar rol weg van die whatever hy heeltyd geblaas het, sal ek die ouens graag wil motiveer om te sê hoor jy sien nou die ref is vletjie happy op die.
Ja.
Kom ons avoid daai areas van die game.
Maar dit moet seker moeilik wees want die spelers is gewoond om dit te doen. En dis wat
Ja,
ek nou
but-
dis wat ek ook gesê het vir die afrigters Woensdag aand. Julle het van julle het spelers wat al 20 jaar, 15 jaar vir die klub speel. Daai man is bekend vir sy hits meneer. Hy slaan net hier vanaf op.
En hy wou net twee iets
Ja,
gekry.
en inderdaad, hy's nou al in diep 30's. Hy kyk nou al vir 'n bietjie retirement se
Ja.
kant toe. Hoe gaan jy nou vir hom die man vir die jaar manage? Want jy moet nou vir hom sê boetie, jy moet eintlik afgaan. En as hy man afgaan gaan sê
Ja.
hy gaan sê
Wow.
wat sê maar.
Ja, maar Joey, kan ek net vir jou vra die hele ding rondom net vir net om vir ons 'n entry te
Net
gee.
gou, sorry, net vir die lees. Ons is amper klaar, die manne lyk gesels. Ons is amper klaar. Net gou die punt, baie belangrik. Ons hoef nie losing die punt. Die punt gaan vir Bombellas. Baie belangrik is die punt.
Ja, kyk, pas op dat ons hier Boston met 'n punt.
Jy
Aso vir die punt moet ja. 1 punt meneer. Beter kom na hierdie.
punt is 'n punt.
Ons kry maar kyk, ek sê vir jou nou en ek glo dat wanneer ons mekaar gaan meet gaan dit seker in 'n top 12 moet wees so.
Ja, ons ken dit, ja.
punt Boston. Joey, die hele tackle reël, ons het nog nie regtig eens wat behels dit eintlik as dit nou net die tackle height het gedrop van jy mag mos onder die
Is nou
skouer
ons nou onder die sternum.
is nou onder die sternum.
Soos jy moet onder die sternum op die sternum is daar reeds 'n penalty.
Okay.
Ja, so op die sternum is nou strafskop. Hy was nie verlede jaar nie. Verlede jaar was hy fine geweest.
Ja.
Maar hy is nou hier. En
Just
so jy moet nou ouens moet nou so dis kom ek sê jou teken wat jy nou vir die ouens opstel waar hulle moet gaan nou moet daar. Maar nou moet jy ook vir die ou sê en hulle praat van 'n late dip van spelers wat hardloop en dan
Ja, wat
'n
het
late dip is van
Ja.
'n late dip is van die ou net voor hy kontak maak.
Maar baie ons doen dit, Joey. Soos as ek 'n over bump, as sal ek my body height drop om vir jou te staan.
Ja, ja. So nou gaan die referee kyk as daar want jy kan dit nog steeds doen dan is daar nie veldspel nie. Jy kan dit nog steeds doen, dan is daar nie veldspel, maar as veldspel inkom, gaan die eerste ding wat die referee van kyk is was jou skouers en jou kop hoër as jou heupe. Indien nie is jy die ou wat die vraagteken op gaan wees.
Okay, so julle gaan nou baie tentatief wees op die
Die
BC.
baldra, ja.
Die baldra.
Ja, so dis kom ek sê dis die aanpassing van die reël by die skeieregters. Die fokus van die tackle na die baldra. En ek dink daar gaan 'n paar baldraers wees wat langs die kant gaan sit hierdie jaar.
Ja, Joey, om eerlik te wees, ek gaan nogal uitsien om te kyk of die refs actually dit kan blaas, want ek bedoel,
100%.
jy wil nou 'n man se mondering verander wat hy nou al 15
100%
jaar
ja,
geblaas het.
100%. So dit gaan ek dink ons gaan en my boodskap aan die skeieregters was en soos ek vir julle gesê het is clean obvious. No gray in between. As hy regtig was, jy sien hy maak so en hy gaan daarin straf hom. Maar as dit nou
Ja.
ja, nog som, want jy kan mos nou nie en moenie gaan want daai goed wat jy die grys area blaas, moet jy 15 minute verduidelik aan die spelers.
Ja, is-
Maar as die een is wat die tannie langs die veld gesien, die tannie wat daar bo sit, daai sien wat jy blaas. As sê almal ja, maar hoekom het hy
Ja.
kop gesak? Dis hoekom hy gestraf word. Dis maar wat die boodskap is vir die ouens.
Mr. Henry Adams so sien vir jou goeie naam. Dis baie belangrik die reëls verander. Coaches moet adapt. Joey,
Ja.
baie dankie.
Plezier.
Lucian, ek dink van jou kant af, ek weet daar's nog baie vraagtekens, is 'n diep saak hierso. Enige boodskap af vir Joey?
Ja, nee Joey, net van my kant af baie dankie dat jy
Thank
vir ons
you, man.
gejoin het en dankie vir jou positiewe ingesteldheid.
Absoluut.
Dit is regtig ek sê vir die ouens, jy nou, jy moet 'n lig skyn nou wat jy gaan man en jy skyn definitief 'n lig.
Baie dankie.
Nie net met goeie looksie, maar met jou interaksie ook Joey, so baie dankie.
Jy maar nou.
Voorspoed en sterkte van wat
Dankie.
julle as die skeieregters gaan aanpak in 2024 met die nuwe laws en allerlei dinge so. Sterkte met dit en die uitvoering daarvan
dankie.
oor die hele WP.
Ja.
Ek weet jy gaan 'n pype taak doen.
Gaan my bes probeer. Ek het nou vir ouens gesê, dis net die reël het verander, nie die reël boekie. So ons kan dit nie almal net na die reël kyk en vergeet dis tog die ander 21 wat ook verblaas moet word.
Ja,
So
ja.
ja.
Joey, enige boodskap vir die mense daar buite wat kyk, 'n summary, iets, miskien 'n tannie wat jy wil groet, enige iemand daarso.
Nee, wat het dan nie sal ek nou besluit. Nee, wat
Dis Valentine's Day Joey.
is amper verby. Ja, ek wil net sê, ek daar's een ding waarna ek uitsien hierdie jaar, weer eens, ek was verlede jaar vir die eerste keer by die Sultana toernooi. Eerste keer. Ek gaan weer die jaar.
Maar
Ek kan
dit
nie wag
gaan nie
nie.
net oor die Sultana nie, daar's nog baie stakke buite, nee.
Ja,
dus,
ek kan nie ek kan nie wag nie, maar as 'n WP man om met die
Yes,
Boland te kom
yes.
en om te werk met hulle skeieregters. Jy het nou een se naam genoem, maar daar was 4 ouens wat daar geblaas het wat ek dink briljante skeieregters is in die Boland. So ek dink gee maar net vir hulle 'n bietjie what they do, want hulle is regtig van hulle is baie goed. Soms word daar gesê ja, die WP het beter skeiters as die Boland.
Wow.
Ek gaan nie daar nie.
Wow.
Ek probeer om 'n verhouding nou met Boland te bou. Ons wil regtig waar die skeidsregters tussen die twee verenigings wil ons sterker maak, dat ons bietjie meer verteenwoordiging in Suid-Afrikaanse panele kan hê. Maar ons gaan dit saam doen. Ons gaan dit saam doen en saam. En dan van my kant af net vir afrigters, ek sê altyd vir die afrigters, I've got an open door policy, I've got an open phone policy. As jy enige issues het met refereeing, dit help altyd as jy 'n klip kan stuur. Want as ek op die klip kan sien, dan kan ek jou gou help en sê okay, van wat ek op die klip sien, is jy verkeerd. Of wat ek op die klip sien, is jy reg. Ek sal met die skeieregter dit uitsorteer. So dis maar hoe ek werk. En ek meen as 'n voorsitter van die vereniging, het ek nie keuse nie, ek moet maar doen wat ek moet doen. The people have spoken.
The people have spoken. Van skeieregter na voorsitter. The people have spoken. Van skeieregter na voorsitter. Hy is hier. Hy sit voor. Joey, baie dankie vir jou.
Presies, JP.
Lucian het nou baie mooi opgesom karakter, mens, net hoe 'n mens dinge doen en die boodskap wat 'n mens uitstraal. It's all about positivity. I mean, that's what we're all about. Mense is so geneig om sensasie te soek.
100%.
But where is that gonna lead you? Is there substance in sensation? Ek gooi dit in die lug. So, maar baie dankie vir jou. Ons gaan vir Joey laat afstaan nou. Ons is in beseringstyd, Lucian.
Ons is diep
Ons is in beseringstyd. Ons het 3-4 fixes wat ons gou vinnig gaan deurloop.
Net vandag, miskien kan Joey saam met ons
Laat Joey maar sit, laat Joey maar
Dit is
sit.
gou maar, Joey, miskien kan jy 'n paar bepalings en kom ons kyk gou die fixers.
Kyk,
Vir die skaplike fixers wat vir ons voorlê.
Eerste paar sekondes van hierdie krag.
Hy's Bompela.
Hulle ken nie Hulle ken nie heeltyd speel
Hy
nie.
speel fantasties rugby.
Ek sien weer 'n ou in die boot, het julle gesien daar in die boot. Daar's
Hy man speel fantasties rugby. Lekker vriendskaplike wedstryde wat vir ons voorlê vir die naweek. Kom ons gaan na Elim speel teen Caledon. CV se span wat na sy
die man op die poster, speel hulle dit nie man op die poster.
CV vat sy span weer terug na sy huis toe Caledon. Joey, wat dink jy Elim Caledon?
Ek ken nie die klub
Ek ken nie hy klub nie. Kyk Elim speel, Elim het nog gepromote streek uit dag toe, maar ek dink Caledon gaan hopeloos
So is 'n entry into Super B.
Okay.
Versus 'n Super A storie. So
Nee, dan sit die Super B.
Ja, en dan
Hy sê Elim, okay.
Dan miskien jy ken van Watsonia miskien. Hulle speel 10 skrik vir niks. Sy se Houston.
Hulle kom weer uitstappie.
Kom hulle vir, gaan jy mooi na hulle kyk.
Hulle kom Houston toe, ja, 'n bietjie, hulle wil hoor hoe sing die mense. So ja, dis dit. En dan kyk ons, ja.
Daar's 'n groot wedstryd wat ons aan mis. Newton speel die naweek teen Saron. Ek het Saron se coaches ook hierso online op die oomblik.
Hy het jou playbook vir hom gestuur.
Hy coach Jacobs, lekker om vir jou te sien. Obviously 'n jong coach, 'n jong
Man van die Roos.
Man van die Roos, hy het nou die reins opgevat by Saron. So ons sien vir hulle die naweek daarso op Bombela Park.
Ek het groot respek vir hy ou, né. As Roses wat gespeel het moes in die top 12, né? As jy met my, top 12.
Ek wag net vir hy man.
Hulle speel in Darling. Nee, is fyn. Ons kan anyway, net gou vinnig. Roses speel in Darling. Daai was op by Canal ook of hy was ergens op pad operasie gehad hier in sy arm. Is daar sulke goed hy staples. Iemand kry by besering by hom op. Hy moet speel. En hy moet kry ticket aan moment of the day.
Dis wat jy wil hê. Hy's
guts. Is mos dieselfde hy tot Jacobs.
Hy's
Daar's net een van hulle.
Laas jaar.
Ja.
Hy's guts, hy's karakter nie.
Ek het gou weer archives toe gevat, maar hy was vir my, hy was niks level.
So definitief wag ons 'n goeie wedstryd daarso op Bombela Park. Newton teen Saron.
Het ons nog 'n fikse lys ons kan nog. Jy kan nog maximum 3 doen.
Natuurlik die games wat regstreeks uitgaan gesaai word deur Global Sports Network.
Solid die man is hy huiswerk. Ons gaan vir hulle uitsort. Nou baie belangrik Lucian, sorry man. Daar's 'n toernooi. Is daar 'n toernooi?
Daar's 'n lekker toernooi.
'n Solid toernooi, né?
Solid toernooi wat die
Wat 'n toernooi is daai?
Kyk, dit is eerste van die soort, dit is die Interprovincial Supercup.
Wil jy weer probeer? Ek gaan weer nog 'n kans gee. Go again.
Die Interprovincial Supercup.
Okay. Wat gebeur daarso?
kyk, daar's 'n paar spanne wat gaan speel van die Boland en die WP wat dan gaan speel Joey. So hier by Global Sports wil ons graag die twee gemerge het en ons wil graag sien ons speel die beste van die Boland
Teen
en
die
die
beste
beste
van
van
die
die WP en ons gaan nou hy geleentheid hê die naweek
Nice.
om te kan sien. Ja, ons aan die begin wou Newtons was eintlik veronderstel om aan te speel. Jy weet die beste in die Boland moes gespeel het teen die beste in die WP, maar
Gaan dit nou nie speel nie.
ons gaan nou nie speel nie, ons speel die naweek speel ons teen Saron. Groot wedstryd.
Hy wil op sy CV's kry in Saron gespeel.
Maar nietemin die beste spanne in die WP gaan na deelneem. Ons het vir Valsbaai gehad en vir Durbel om te begin. Valsbaai het onttrek. Gelukkig toe step St George's in. Hulle gaan nou die plek
Die Lulu Boys.
Die Lulu
Lulu
Boys.
Boys.
Die Hendrik se Lulu Boys.
Ja, van die bestes. Hy's regtig 'n
Ja.
quality outfit. Hy sal
Ja,
die Lulu Boys, hulle
dat
kan
sal
so.
like, dat
En
gaan
hulle bring die
lekker
busse.
Ja.
En die
Hulle
hulle
bring
Hulle bring
busse,
busse,
hulle bring busse.
mense so. Hulle gaan dit was veronderstel om Robertson Town ook te wees, maar ek dink dit is nou net Robertson Rangers en Vredenburg
Okay.
wat sy gesê het op
Hy was like solid hoor.
Hy man is op 'n goeie
Hulle
wicket op die
like
oomblik.
ja, anyway.
So
hulle
so
like
Joey ons sien uit om te sien hoe die Boland spanne die naweek gaan doen teen die WP spanne. Dit
Waar is die
dit gaan
toernooi?
lekker wees. Eerste naweek is in
Robertson.
Robertson.
Okay.
So hulle speel daar op die
4 weke toernooi, né?
Kalido weet.
Hoeveel weke?
Is 2 weke, soos
2
hierdie week
weke.
en volgende naweek.
2
Ja.
weke.
Fantasties.
So as lekker wedstryde om vooruit te sien in die
So
in
kyk
die
maar daarso as subscribe, as like, as membership, is aan die gang. Kyk net daar by YouTube die goeters gebeur. Losing Kipido beseringstyd. Sien jy, hy het die bord opsit, as hy hulle 5 minute. Jy kan nie 9 minute speel nie, is 5 minute. So is 'n beseringstyd gewees. Die dinge gebeur. There's history. Robertson, Durbel, Durbel, St George's, Vredenburg en Town.
Ja.
Is ek reg?
Nee, Rangers.
Rangers. Robertson Rangers.
Ja.
Durbel, St George's en Vredenburg.
Ja.
Daar is jy
Ah,
man.
jy het dit nou.
Quality.
Ja, well
Hulle gaan
done.
uitdraf. Hulle is daar. Kyk 'n bietjie die aksie, maar ons moet vir jou dankie sê. Jou tyd, jou data, jou energie. And to the guy on the screen, Tom Dawson Squib. Tomo, thank you very much once again for you. Just pitching, and I mean, guys, it was a massive vibe. It was energy. It was quality.
lekker,
Quality human being. So thanks to him. Joey, dankie vir jou. Lucien, vir jou. Sit jy was op die pad.
Ja, net met om af te sluit.
Sit ons op
JP,
die reguit pad.
Ek moet vir JP sê baie dankie JP dat jy altyd met soveel entoesiasme die setpiece ran. You know, is 'n voorreg om hier so te kom sit en jy kom sit hier en jy's voorberei man. Hy's baie belangrik. Jy's 'n man wat die beplanning doen. Jy doen die werk, jy het vir Joey ingekry vir Tom Dobson. En die mense soms die mense weet nie wat 'n werk agter die skerms aangaan nie. So ek sê vir jou JP baie dankie vir die werk wat jy insit. Dat jy quality vir ons elke week in en week uitbring. Sterkte vir jou ook vir die naweek en alles wat jy aanpak. Ek weet daar die mense in die Oeverberg is 'n tawe crowd om te please. Maar ek weet ek weet jy's 'n man wat you don't aim to please people, you want to please God. En daarvoor weet ek jy gaan suksesvol wees. So met dit gaan ons uitteken hierso van die set piece af. Ek wil net sê my woord is onthou om te onthou dat die Here is goed. Soms vergeet ons, maar ek gee net weer eens 'n notice dat hy is goed en ek wil jou weer eens remind om te onthou dat hy is goed. Ek is Lucien Kibru, Jean-Paul Kellerman, Joey Salmons, hiermee groet ons julle. Die Here seën, hy sorg, hy lei en hy beskerm. Tot 'n volgende keer.